Hi, everybody. Joey Lott here, and I have a question for you. Have you had the experience of discovering and recognizing that you are not your thoughts, that you're not bound by your thoughts? Perhaps you've had the experience of recognizing the present moment. Maybe you've realized that all that's ever happening is right now. And if you have, then I have something that I want to share with you that could honestly change your life, because here's what I've noticed that happens for a lot of people is that they hit this kind of plateau and a kind of cynicism sets in where people start to have they have a kind of freedom. It's a relative freedom because they've realized that they're not bound by thought, that they're not bound by a lot of the identification that they used to believe in. They don't believe their beliefs any longer. But what happens then is people start to feel like, well, is this it? Is this all there is? There kind of seems to be a flatness to life. And if you are experiencing this, then I have the remedy for you. And this is really important because a lot of people get stuck in this and they feel like, oh, maybe this is all there is. Maybe I'm supposed to be just totally dispassionate. And in fact, in many spiritual circles, this is something that people they kind of cheer this on, right? They kind of champion dispassion. Now, it's true that at a certain point in this kind of inquiry, it can be very useful to be dispassionate because you really want to be able to recognize and disidentify with the thoughts and beliefs to see that you're not bound by those things. But the problem is, then if you start to pay attention, you'll see that what happens is for most people, they begin to identify with something else. This idea of themselves as this newly spiritualized, enlightened, dispassionate thing. And that's a mistake. So, what I'd like to do is help you to get in touch with this deeper passion, this deeper creative impulse, this deeper juiciness of life, so that you can connect with that connection. You can connect with that love, that excitement, that enthusiasm. Because even though I don't necessarily often show that in my persona, it's just not my personality. I'm a kind of more measured, more analytical sort of personality. But the reality is that my experience, just like yours, if you'll tune into it, is that there is this deep passion and excitement. Because guess what? Here we are. Life is happening, right? And that's really exciting. Now, whatever your opinion of life might be, that's a whole other thing. And I got my opinions, and there's a lot of scary stuff, and there's a lot of disappointing stuff, and there's a lot of frustrating stuff, and there's a lot of whatever. So it's not about having enthusiasm for things necessarily, although that's also allowed. But it's not that the enthusiasm and the passion is driven by the pursuit of things. Rather, it's that when you really tune into it, you'll start to discover that this passion, enthusiasm, it's already here at the core of your being. That is fundamentally already here, and it's juicy. Okay? So I want you to tune into that because you're not here to live a life that's just dispassionate. If that was the point, why on earth would any of this be here? You're here to be fully alive, to be fully yourself. It's all allowed, it's all welcome, it's all needed. So you don't need to work so hard to become something else. The good news is that you're already you. You're needed. That's exciting. Tune into that passion that's deep down, that's not motivated to get away from something nor toward something, but rather to be an expression of that fundamental joy and creativity and passion that you already are. So that's the really good news. I do have to tell you one little caveat is that in order to really connect with that deeply, we have to be willing to allow everything in our actual experience. That's where that dispassion can be super helpful because you have to then be willing to allow it all, even the stuff that you're afraid of, even the stuff that feels uncomfortable. But the good news is that that stuff is not what you thought it was. It's never what we think it is. If you think that this is an unbearable experience, if you think that this is the most horrible experience, if you think that you can't allow it, that's not the truth. The truth is that it's actually the gateway to this deeper recognition of yourself as you actually are, to the deeper awareness of that fundamental passion. And that's exciting. So I want that for you. It's available for you. And hopefully I'll be talking a lot more about that in the coming months and onward. All right. See you next time. Bye for now.